Hi guys, welcome back to Blue Feather Homestead. It's Samantha here. Yesterday I did a video on storing flour long term in mylar bags, and during that video I said that I was going to show you how to make a quick bread out of that flour. Well, this bread recipe calls for self-rising flour. I didn't store that in my bags. I used regular flour, but you can use any flour that you want to in this recipe. If you use regular flour, you're going to have a little bit of baking powder to it. I do have self-rising flour on hand, so that's what I'm going to use. So it calls for self-rising flour, milk, and oil, and that's it. 3 ingredients, and that's going to make you a quick bread. This is going to be on stovetop. I learned this recipe off of Hillbilly Kitchen. She is old school cook and has just fantastic recipes, and so you might want to check out her channel. Anyway, older than the hills, she'll tell you that this recipe is older than the hills, but it could save you from starvation one day. You know, yesterday's video on storing the flour, it was also on starting to prepare for hard times. You know what's going on today, and it's been building up, okay? You already know what I think. There's only a certain amount of stuff that I can say on here without them removing my video. There's only a certain amount of stuff that people can say without, you know, I mean, people are watching, so and they'll take your video down. So anyway, I will leave it at that. I want you to start preparing, though. I hope and pray that everybody is starting to prepare for hard times. I was watching a video on a prepper, and she was talking about gardening and this and that, and she said, you know what, I hate to tell you folks, but 3 tomato plants ain't gonna cut it if that's all you got, blah blah blah. Okay, very negative. Don't listen to the haters, people. Don't get discouraged. You don't have to have a garden. Right now you can go to the store. We have the conveniences of going to the store right now. There might come a time to where, yeah, we might have to have a garden. Hey, I've had gardens. I've had huge gardens. I've had small gardens. Okay? I'm not knocking that at all. Trust me, I love gardening, organic food. There's no chemicals in it. I like raising my own meat. I like my fresh eggs. But what I'm saying is that, you know what? Go to the grocery store and get you a $1 can of tomatoes and put them into your pantry. Right now we can go to the grocery store. Just pick up an extra item each time you go, you know. Start storing up your pantry, people, because it could get worse, okay? That was probably negative of me to even say that, but I just don't want you to listen to the haters. Don't get discouraged, okay? You can do this. Use what you got. And it's just like this recipe. She says, you know, that the flour, you can use any kind of flour that you want. You can use any kind of milk that you want. You can use any kind of fat that you want. You can use vegetable oil, bacon, butter, whatever you have. You know, I mean, this might help you in the future if that's all you have on hand. You can have some bread and have some honey on it, or peanut butter, or meat, you know, have a sandwich or whatever. So anyway, let's get started on this recipe. I'll stop now. All right, y'all, this is 2 cups of self-rising flour. And I've got my milk here, my sour milk that I've got going on here. A cup of milk, any kind of milk you have. I filled this up to the top with whole milk, and I put lemon juice to make it, you know, to fill it up the rest of the way, to make my sour milk. I'm just going to dump it in here. So there's my cup of milk into my 2 cups of self-rising flour. And then you have a 1/4 cup of your oil. Any oil you want to use. Whatever you have on hand is what you're going to use. This bread, you know, doesn't taste like a yeast bread, whatever, but you know what, it's really good. And there are different options. You can shape these like hamburger buns. You can shape them like hot dog buns. I already have my cast iron skillet heating up over there. I have it on low on top of the stove. And like I said, this gal said this is so old school. Back in the day when there was no AC, they were not going to turn on their ovens, right? So it was just stovetop. And this takes 10 minutes to make. After you get this mixed up, it's going to take 10 minutes, 5 minutes on each side. So you see that this dough is kind of sticky. She says you don't want to overwork it. Okay, let me just get that mixed up a little bit better here. I'm not going to overwork it. I think that's probably good. Let me show you what I've got here. Okay, see, it looks like this. I'm gonna let that sit and rise for about 5 minutes or so, okay? All right, I'll let that set for 5 minutes. Now I've got a little bit of flour here on my cutting board. I'm just gonna plop this right onto it. Now you can bake it just like this whole, okay? You can just kind of form it, bake it whole, and I believe she said that's called a pone of bread. A pone of bread. Bake it like that, and then when it's done you can cut it up into your pieces. I'm going to cut it up, I'm going to separate it and kind of mold it into buns or bread-like, okay? Slices of bread-like. So there's that. We'll cut it, divide it here. Just like so. The Pone bread, I guess, takes a little bit longer than if you do divide it, so I'm going to do it like this. You know what? Man, when you need some bread and you live about 10 minutes, 20 minutes away from town each way, you don't really want to run out and get some bread anyway. So this is a good recipe to have, you know, even if we're not going through hard times or whatever, okay? So I'm just going to kind of form this into a bun. I'm not going to work it too much here. Let's see, like that. We'll just form these into circles. You can use a cutter if you have one. I do have one, but I decided to go ahead and divide it up like this. So you never know. I mean, this might be all you have in your pantry, and you'll be able to feed your family. Okay, it's just bread, but alright, so I have my cast iron skillet here, and you need to have a pretty super sealed tight lid, okay, for it. I'm going to use a clear one just so I can watch it this time, okay? So I have this heating up on low. It's on low. Sometimes this stove of mine doesn't know the meaning of low. The fire is in the middle, so I'm going to put the bread on the outside, okay? I'm going to try to even this out here. Now this pan has been around. It was gifted to us by my mother-in-law. Well, I guess it's not going to go quite so far around, but we're going to put it on the edges. Anyway, mom-in-law, this came from grandma, so it's a very special pan, and I have used the heck out of it. I love my cast iron. So we're going to just put those in there like that. Okay, now I'm going to cover it up. And, whoops, let me put that on a little bit better there. Alright, I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm kind of keeping an eye on them. I have about 2 minutes left, but I can see that they're rising up a little bit. Like, I wonder if I should have made them a little bit smaller. Well, they just look fantastic. They look like hamburger buns to me. And, you know, oh, this would be great, like with some pulled pork or, you know, whatever you have. Anyway. All right, y'all, 5 minutes is up for this one side. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm just going to use my knife here to flip. Just going to flip it over. I wanted to let you know that I kind of like smushed those down a little bit to make them a little bit bigger. And man, they are really fluffing up. Yeah, those are going to be great. Look at that. Got a little dark on the inside, but you can just pick that off or whatever. It's because I wanted to have them all around where the flame is, but it's not quite big enough. I really crammed them in there. So, okay, we'll go another 5 minutes for the other side. Second 5 minutes is up. Let's get these babies out of there. Okay. Look at that. Let's cut one open. Let's see. Let's cut open this one here. See it? This is kind of just basically probably a biscuit type of bread. Look at that. Oh, it's beautiful. That is just beautiful. It's steaming. I don't think I'm gonna have a sandwich right now. I made me a hazelnut cappuccino while I was waiting for the 5 minutes, the last 5 minutes to bake this. And I've had that cappuccino machine we've had it for about 15 years, and it just works like a charm. But anyway, I'm gonna just put some butter on here, and I've got some homemade pomegranate blueberry jelly that I made. Let's let that melt a little bit more. That'll be a whole nother video, how to make jelly. Simple, simple, okay? So let's put a little bit of that on there. Oh my gosh, that looks really good, you guys. Okay, so anyway, look at here. I already showed you the texture, but is that fantastic? That is a quick 10-minute bread right there, okay? You don't have bread, you could use this for sandwiches. And you could probably just go ahead and cram those into biscuit size. Bake them that way on your stovetop or your campfire or your grill or your propane grill, whatever you have, and have some biscuits and gravy or something if you'd like to do that. All right, y'all, that's it. There it is. I'm gonna give that a try. Got my cappuccino here ready. Think I'm ready for fall. I think it's about to start raining here in Oklahoma, actually. It's kind of getting a little bit of cloudy out there, and I think it's supposed to rain anyway, maybe from the hurricane that's going on. Anyway, guys, I sure am glad you joined me today, and I hope you give this a try. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. Give me a thumbs up, and y'all have a great day. Love y'all. Bye. Oh my gosh, y'all. That is really, really good. I'm really enjoying it.